Las Vegas is a haven for international shopping. And by this, I do not mean the international luxury brands that you can find on the Strip. Although, if that is what you are looking for, the selection for that is also extensive. I am really talking about international grocery shops. H Mart and Greenland Market is famous for Korean products. La Bonita and Mariana's for Mexican and Hispanic products. Sidra and various small stores for Middle Eastern. The 158 Market for various Asian products. And Rani's for Indian and South Asian. Of course, Seafood City for Filipino products. Over the next few months, we will go shopping at various of these. These are just some of the big places. We will also be exploring some of the smaller places. So please consider subscribing to my channel, and you might just find out about a place you did not know about, or finally have the courage to walk into a store that is outside of your comfort zone. Today we will be focusing on one place that covers most of these countries and regions and even more. The International Market on Decatur. It is open from 9 to 6 Monday to Saturday, and fair warning, it is closed on Sundays. The International Market offers foods and snacks and a few gifts and kitchen products. They pride themselves with having products from over 50 countries. This is not a fancy store. It has a distinctly warehouse vibe. The focus is on the products, not the decor. I have lived and traveled all over the world, so each and every aisle is like coming home to me. I always arrive only needing 1 or 2 ingredients that I just can't find anywhere else, and then end up spending all my money on snacks. If you stay to the end, you will see all that I got, and really shouldn't have. Let's explore down the aisles. As you enter, on the right-hand side, you have aisle 1 and 2, the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Poland. Before you go down this aisle, there's a huge display of spices. I come here to buy spices in bulk. Many of the spices you can find other places too, but I find that different cultures process the same spices differently, so it helps to get the spices sourced from the correct region to get the correct taste. Here I also buy my coffee to be brewed the authentic ways. If you're looking for sugar cubes, something that's getting more and more difficult to find in American store, this is a good place to find them. If you've eaten all the baklava that you bought at Greek Fest earlier in the year, their international market has a very large selection of pre-packaged baklava. As with many of the snacks in this store, this also makes for a wonderful gift. For all the cooks out there, or if you're a prepper, here you can also find shelf-stable ghee, something else that is becoming more and more difficult to find in most American stores. The center of the aisles, just like the center of the store, often have occasion-specific products. Not only can you find many spices here that it's more difficult to find other places, you can also find spices in very large containers at very reasonable prices. While there are some regions in America where they are not shy with spices, in general I find that I use much larger quantities with a lot of international recipes. A lot of the recipes call for several tablespoons of 4 or 5 different spices. Aisle 3 is Dutch and Indonesian. As I was walking down the aisles, I tried to give both an overview of what is available and to zoom in on some items that you will not find in a standard grocery store. In the Middle East, I fell in love with rose hip jam, and considering how many products they produce with rose water, it is very logical that rose hips will be utilized. The rose hip jam here is actually in the Indonesian aisle. I once read a great article about how disappointed someone was when they tried Turkish Delight for the first time after reading about it in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And all I could think was that they clearly did not try the right type. I love Turkish Delight. In fact, the English chocolate dipped Turkish Delight bars are my second favorite type of chocolates, only beaten by a hair by Mint Aero. If you've never tried it, there's a whole section of different Turkish Delight varieties. There's a fair amount of spillover between the aisles, and especially on the end caps between the aisles. Just like with spices, the correct type of olive oil can make or break a dish. Aisle 4 is Italian. If you're cooking Italian and can't find the correct type of pasta, the international market is a good place to come have a look. Pasta, olive oil, vinegar, products that we are used to only seeing as generic. Here you can find an endless variety to elevate your cooking. Aisle 5 is British. What is more British than beans on toast? Yes, I have friends who come here to specifically buy Heinz beans to have on toast. I'm always slightly amused by the amount of Indian products in the British aisle. A lot of British products are also well known in the Commonwealth countries, so South Africans, Australians, and yes, people from India and Pakistan will find products here that remind them of home. Aisle 6, German. Herring, mustard and sauerkraut. We must be in the German aisle. I'm just joking. In addition to these very standard German items, there's also a very large selection of sauces and baking products. Then there's also a very large selection of already baked products. Of course, at this time, as we're coming up to Christmas, the main ones being gingerbread. At the back, beyond aisle 6, is a very large selection of butters, cheeses, and processed meats. I think that there's very few products that define certain cuisines as much as the correct cheeses. Here you can find a selection that challenge even the most dedicated cheese lovers. Still at the back, but more towards the center, is fruit and vegetables, and then seafood beyond that. Most of these you can find in other specialty stores all over the valley. But if you're here shopping already, you might as well pick up last few products as well. Hopefully you have avoided getting distracted by the middle of the store and the special displays, as it is filled with European Christmas goodies. I had to resist buying any of the products because we would eat it before Christmas and then I just have to come back again. I remember the first time I bought back some authentic stollen for Christmas. My boyfriend was delighted. Should I comment on how many European Christmas chocolates have alcohol in them? And these are not the sanitized American versions. You can get seriously tipsy on a box of these. In England, a tin of quality street is the height of decadence over the holiday season. More snacks and candies, and more snacks and candies. I took a lot of videos of snacks. I always joke and say that half the store is ingredients that I need because I can't find them anywhere else. And the other half is snacks that I don't need but want because I can't find them anywhere else. And then we switch over to Asian snacks and candies. With the 11th of November coming up soon, there are plenty of pepperos to choose from. On the left side of the store we find Hawaiian, then Japanese, and then Korean products. I did not film here as much as the European items. Not because I don't love and buy a lot of these products, but because next week I will be posting a video of H Mart and it has a much larger selection. I have to say though that there are things that I have found here at the international market that I didn't see at H Mart. And it's also well worth price checking between the two. Well, the three, because I remain loyal to Greenland Market too. If you're new to Vegas, and especially if you did not move here from a place like California with its many cultural enclaves, all of this might seem totally overwhelming. Las Vegas is a huge melting pot, and I sometimes forget that. It wasn't until I got home that I realized how little I had recorded of the Asian food. And this is because it seems you can find it everywhere now. And then I realized how fortunate we are here in Las Vegas. Beyond the food stuff, there are several aisles of kitchen equipment and dishware. I could do an entire video just of that. But I decided to not include many since this video is more than long enough already, just with the food. What do you like to shop for at the international market? What do you wish they had that they just don't carry? What product of what they do have at the international market do you think is most central to the cooking of the country that you come from? I have traveled to more than 40 countries and lived in 8 of them, and every time I go to the international market, I find some things there that I had not seen before and takes me right back to a time spent in a specific country. So finally, here's the quick list of what I bought this time at the market. I stocked up on some spices: turmeric, curry powder, and smoked paprika. Paprika is not very common here in America, but it is used all over the world. It is dried red pepper. I got some golden syrup and some mango chutney, and then I got some snacks, including an advent calendar with British chocolate.